As many of you know who've been following me knows that when I was doing my Black Massacre series, Forsyth County, Georgia was one of the locations that I talked about in that particular series, and it brought up the infamous Lake Lanier. And Lake Lanier has literally become almost haunted at this point. As a matter of fact, I don't know how many people watched the show Atlanta or not, but in season 3 of Atlanta, the very first episode actually highlighted Lake Lanier. And I'm actually shocked that they actually did that, but I thought it was interesting for them to do so, considering Lake Lanier, while it's very haunted in a way, and we pretty much know why that is, considering the history. I thought it was just very interesting that they put that in the episode. If y'all ever get a chance, whether you watch the show or not, just watch that particular part. It's like a small, maybe 5-minute opening scene for that particular season. But furthermore, added onto the Lake Lanier situation, there has been a lot of questionable things as of late and as of recent that have been occurring near, or not so much near the lake, but more so in the lake. That's why I said that I will not go anywhere near or around this lake, because a lot of weird stuff seems to always happen when you go near it. Like this story right here that was posted July 31st, 2023 on Fox 5 Atlanta, where it says Lake Lanier deaths. 2 men drown after deadly weekend at Georgia Lake. In less than a week, the number of people this year who have died in 2023 because of Georgia's infamous Lake Lanier has doubled. Saturday, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources says that a 61-year-old Stone Mountain man disappeared when he drove off the side of a boat near East Bank Lake and never resurfaced. Tracy Stewart's body was found just after 9 p.m. in the lake. That same night, a 27-year-old man was reported missing when he went under. I think that was a typo. When he went under while swimming near a boat near Van Pugh Park. The DNR and Hall County Fire are still searching for the unidentified man's body. The deaths come days after 24-year-old Thomas Milner was killed when officials said he was electrocuted after jumping off of a dock, the lake near Lanier Beach South Road. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says Milner entered the water from his family's dock and was heard screaming for help shortly after. A neighbor pulled Milner from the water. He was rushed to North Forsyth Hospital, where he later died. The deadly week sent the number of deaths at Lake Lanier since the beginning of the year from 3 to 6. As of mid-July, the DNR reports that Georgia has had more than 25 drownings across the state between 1994 and 2022. 140 have died at Lake Lanier alone. Those are some crazy numbers when you put it in hindsight like that. And they said that's from 94 to 2022. You're talking about only almost 20 years. I'm sorry, almost 30 years, worth of deaths just at this lake alone, where they said 140 people have died, and it's doubled from the beginning of the year to now, from 3 to 6. Now, this part right here is actually identifying the individual who died from the electrocution. His name was Thomas Shepard Milner. So this is him right here. It was mentioned in the previous article that I just mentioned, and I'm going to actually read what this article says. A Georgia mother is encouraging dock owners to do safety checks after her son was electrocuted at Lake Lanier. Thomas Shepard Milner died Thursday after he jumped off the dock at his family's home in Forsyth County and was shocked by electricity in the water. Our dock was less than 3 years old and was outfitted with electricity by a licensed electrician, Martha Milner told Channel 2 Action News. I would encourage dock owners to check their electricity and repair promptly. On Thursday, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources officials received word of a man who was shocked near Lanier Beach South Road in Forsyth County. Family members and neighbors tried to rescue and perform CPR on Shep Milner. He was pronounced dead at the hospital. Martha Milner says her son grew up swimming at the family's lake property, which they have owned for decades, and that he loved everything about the water. He would spend his day off riding the jet ski, swimming, or just snoozing on the dock to some music, she said. Milner said her son was one of the smartest people she knew and wants people to remember him as the gentle and kind man he had become. Most of all, Shepard was gentle and kind, loving and accepting. He didn't care what your beliefs were, politically, racially, sexually. Everyone was equal in his eyes. Shepard was known for his quirkiness, his humor, and his dedication. Shepard touched many lives in many ways. The family will hold a celebration of life service for Milner on Saturday at the Reformation Brewery in Canton from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. So that pretty much covers that right there. But I did some more digging because I wanted to see if there was anything else outside of these two stories right here, and I ended up finding this. $16 million settlement reached against Margaritaville companies from 2020 near drowning of 4-year-old. And this is it's like a little excerpt. It's not even a full article, but I just wanted to pull it up anyway. And it says, a fence is placed along the beach Wednesday, May 10, 2023 at the Lanier Islands beach to keep people out of the water. Margaritaville at Lanier Islands will no longer allow people to swim in beach waters out of safety concerns. Now this picture I think was taken on May 10th, but the article itself, or the little excerpt, was posted July 28th. And it says a $16 million settlement was reached in a lawsuit after a 4-year-old nearly drowned at Margaritaville at Lake Lanier Islands in 2020, according to court documents. So this child survived, but he almost drowned. So there was almost another casualty at this lake. I'm telling you, people need to stay out of it. But there was also another story that I wanted to talk about as well as it pertains to this. And this is a story many people were aware of, but they probably have forgot, but also probably didn't know where it happened. But it too happened at Lake Lanier. So as you can see right here, this is Usher's ex-wife wants to drain Georgia's largest lake where her son died in a jet ski accident, posted July 16, 2023. And that is Tamika Foster. Now, I remember when this happened, and it was a very unfortunate and tragic accident, but I never knew that it happened at Lake Lanier. Maybe because I didn't really look too much into the details of it, but I just knew he had died in a tragic jet skiing accident. The ex-wife of R&B singer Usher is asking officials to drain Georgia's largest lake where her son was struck and killed by a jet ski 11 years ago. It's crazy how fast time flies. Fashion designer Tamika Foster has collected more than 3,000 signatures on an online petition to drain, clean, and restore Lake Lanier, a 44-mile-long reservoir up northeast of Atlanta. Only when the massive lake is completely drained can officials safely remove hazardous material and implement improved safety measures at the lake to ensure the well-being of all individuals engaging in personal watercraft and recreational activities. Her 11-year-old son, Kyle Glover, was floating on an inner tube in Lake Lanier in July 2012 when a jet ski driven by a family friend, Jeffrey Hubbard, crashed into him. Kyle, son of Bounce TV founder Ryan Glover and stepson of Usher, was declared brain dead but kept on life support for 2 weeks before he died. Hubbard was convicted of several charges, including homicide by vessel, and sentenced to serve 4 years in prison and 15 years probation. This incident, among others, underscores the urgent need for proper zoning, safety, and complete overhaul measures within the lake, Foster said. Heavy traffic on the lake has resulted in hundreds of boat collisions in the past 3 decades, according to the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. The agency reported more than 170 boating and drowning deaths between 1994 and 2018. Now, remember, in the previous article that I read, it had the 1994 part right, but it said to 2022. So this one was to 2018, and this is just from boating incidents. The other ones was just from drownings. So like I tell you, this lake, it's something over that lake. That's why I said you won't find me near it. I won't be near it. I damn sure won't be in it. The grieving mother claimed that the construction of the 73-year-old man-made lake, which partially flooded the heavily black community of Oscarville, which again talked about in my Black Massacre series, could be affecting the water's currents and poses a danger to those who use it for recreation. In addition to being a popular getaway spot, the lake provides drinking water for about 5 million people, according to the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper Conservation Group. The Beaufort Dam at the lake's southern end generates hydroelectric power for the metro Atlanta area. After draining Lake Lanier, Foster proposes the implementation of stricter regulations and zoning for water-related activities. Draining, cleaning, and restoring Lake Lanier is not only necessary, but also an opportunity to honor the memory of those who have lost their lives and prevent further tragedies. I love you, Kyle, and I will fight to the end. Foster and the DJ Got Us Falling in Love singer divorced after 2 years of marriage in 2009. They could have left that part out. This is the couple shares sons Usher Raymond V and Naveed. The two had I'm not going to read that part because it's like that's not important to the story. They want to talk about their relationship. It is what it is. It really focused on her son and her wanting to drain this lake. I don't know what kind of regulation she would have to go through in order to have that to happen. I don't know what the process is with this, but good luck in her crusade as it pertains to this. I'm almost scared to see what they'll find at the bottom of that lake. That's what I'm curious about. What would they find down at the bottom of the lake? Because like they said, this was a man-made lake. It's not like it just happened. They literally made this lake, and it was a whole town, and they flooded it, and this is what got left with it, and this is what got left. That's why think of the movie Poltergeist. Y'all seen the movie The Poltergeist, where they had the homes built on top of a gravesite, and that home became haunted. Well, think of Lake Lanier as the water version of that. Every time it seems like people go out on that lake, something weird happens, and usually it ends in tragedy, or in some cases, like the story that I mentioned before, Tamika Foster's son, in almost tragedy. But I don't know, what it's going to take. But all I can say is this: just stay away from the lake. That's all I have to say. I think that's the best bet. As long as you stay away from that lake, you'll be good.